Hey guys, it's your favorite chud. And yeah, I love my chud life, guys. uh you know, over this past year or so, I've come to the realization that my life, all things considered, is great. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. But and we'll get to that later, but looking back on things, guys, you know I'm pretty grateful to have the things that I have. I mean, I live in a house with um most of my family supporting me, and I've already talked about it here, but I can't really work because of my disability. And my state doesn't have income caps, but they do have asset caps. And even with the income caps, you have to apply for a special thing. Uh, and I'm on direct state Medicaid expansion. Like, I don't even have an MCO, a managed care organization. It's literally at the point of service insurance for most things. People say that doesn't exist. But if you're disabled enough, a lot of states actually do have it. And so, even though there are no asset caps, if I applied for, or I'm sorry, there are no income caps. If I applied to that program, I would have to get on an MCO and I would lose all of the extra stuff that comes uh with having that direct state Medicaid. So that basically means I can't work if I want to have health care, basically. But, um, you know, I still am pretty involved in the community. I'm part of one board that, I'm actually vice chair of that board that, helps run an organization in my community that provides services to disabled people in a crucial age range, 18 to around 25. Because unfortunately, yes, services exist for disabled people, but most of those, and a lot of people don't know this, it's only while we're children. In that immediate, like, post high school, or post employment training, post college, whatever, services just kind of dry up. You're basically in the adult US healthcare systems with a tiny bit of extras if your state decides to expand Medicaid. Um So yeah, I'm on an advisory board for that, and I'm trying to get as much as I can into local politics as a democratic socialist. So um yeah, and to be honest, I mean, I look around at other people struggling, and yeah, do I wish sometimes that I could have a little bit more agency? Of course, and I'm gonna keep fighting until that becomes the case, until significant welfare reform is achieved. Um but I mean, I look around at others and see how others are struggling, and I can't help but, when I reflect, saying, wow, I love my life. And Guys, keep in mind, I'm college educated. Um, I have a master's degree, I have an associate's degree, and I have a bachelor's degree with no debt. I financed that all through Pell Grants and scholarships. Um, and honestly, if I can eventually work my way up in politics and start out with a six-figure salary, I could, and let's say government health insurance, even with the copays that they have, because that's another thing. Um, I could conceivably make something of myself, but of course, that doesn't account for all the time in between. But to be honest, guys, like, I'm just so privileged still. Like, I have a warm bed, warm house, tons of entertainment, like a computer, and like, yeah, guys, like, I can't help but say once again, I love my chud life. Um, and I don't really have that many friends. I don't really have romantic or let's say um sexual opportunities despite trying. Um but you know what? You can't have everything in life. And unfortunately, it's just the reality of my situation. I've come to have radical acceptance about those things. Um and I'm just gonna keep trying to be more social in general, but I've stopped, like, necessarily going for um having a girlfriend, let's say, or a boyfriend or a partner be the end goal of that. I'm just trying to be social to be social, and like improve my own social skills. And um a chud life is still a chud life in the end. Uh and I can't deny the bad things about it. I was thinking about uh when brainstorming the idea for this video. I don't know if you guys have seen Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, but in that movie, the cricket has a, a picture of Schopenhauer hanging up in his little, whole home. And I can't say that I'm at that point, and where at the end of the movie he takes it down, right? And it's like, it's kind of one of those adult, uh or not necessarily adult, because even though it's animated, the movie is still pretty adult themed. um but it's one of those jokes where I honestly, like, when I first saw that movie, I was like, dang, real. Like, that's so real. Like, because I have appreciation of life for sure, and I think life should be protected. I'm a little bit more pro life than a lot of other people I know. I'm against a certain penalty for doing stuff that's kind of just accepted in the United States. And um I always like to talk about positive reproductive rights as well as the negative ones, because the positive ones are the ones that disabled people like me oftentimes need more than the negative ones, if you know what I mean. Um and you know, I can't say that if I were the cricket, um I would take down my portrait of Schopenhauer from my wall, even though I have one. But it's just the symbolism of it representing like a step away from pessimism into optimism. I can't say that yet, guys, to be honest. But at the very least, I can, go to bed um with a smile on my face, glad to have gone through the day. And there have been um many days in my young life, cuz I'm only 27, where I would have not been able to say that. And like, I don't know, I'm just so grateful. uh I made a video about a year ago now, I think, in which I said something similar. But that was that I was finally happy, or felt some sort of happiness, not necessarily that like I liked my life entirely, the way I do now. But yeah, I'll say it again. I love my chud life. And uh it's over, guys. It really is. In a lot of ways, for me, it's over. But you know what they say. Um, don't cry because it's over. Be happy that it never began. Anyway, guys, yeah, this was maybe just a ramble, maybe just a whatever, but I hope you were able to get something out of it, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.